Story 1. Background. I 30M met my wife, Claudia 28F, when I was in college. I was majoring in business economics, and Claudia was majoring in English. We first met at a mutual friend's house, and we hit it off pretty well from the start. After dating for a couple of years, I proposed to her shortly after we graduated, and she said yes right away. Our courtship wasn't particularly noteworthy, but it was filled with love and mutual respect. We've now been married for 4 years. The incident, a bar. About a year after our marriage, things began to change. Claudia walked in on me at a bar with a female colleague. It was an entirely innocent situation. A bunch of US coworkers had gone out for drinks after work, and as people left one by one, it ended up being just me and this colleague left at the bar. Claudia walked in with her friends, came over to say hi, and I greeted her normally, feeling I had nothing to hide. But when Claudia got home, she exploded. She threw her purse down, stomped towards me, and accused me of cheating. Despite my attempts to explain and show her photos from the night, she wouldn't listen and continued to accuse me of infidelity. Escalation of jealousy. This incident marked the beginning of Claudia's excessive jealousy. She became clingy and overly suspicious of any interaction I had with women, even if it was just answering a simple question. Her jealousy didn't extend to women who were clearly not a threat, but any attractive woman I interacted with triggered her suspicions. This behavior was not only draining but also irrational, as I had never given her a reason to doubt my loyalty. An attempt at therapy. After numerous arguments, I suggested we try couples therapy. Initially, it seemed to help, but Claudia soon grew suspicious of the therapist as well. She accused the therapist of taking my side and even suspected her of trying to sleep with me. We switched to a male therapist, and the sessions seemed to make a difference for a few months. However, the progress was short-lived. The breaking point. The situation reached a breaking point when Rebecca, the same colleague from the bar, came to our house to drop off some documents. Claudia recognized her and went into a rage, accusing me of bringing Rebecca to our house to sleep with her. She even threatened to get tested for STDs, convinced I had cheated on her multiple times. I walked out realizing I couldn't live like this anymore, considering divorce. I stayed in a hotel for a few days, contemplating divorce. Although therapy had helped to some extent, I feared Claudia's jealousy would resurface with the slightest trigger. I felt trapped, knowing I couldn't live under such tight control for the rest of my life. Claudia's retaliation. 2 weeks later, at a friend's barbecue, I noticed Claudia being unusually touchy with a recently divorced man. When we got home, she admitted she was trying to make me jealous, saying, "Now you know how it feels." This was absurd, as I had never behaved inappropriately with other women. Claudia then suggested I was jealous because the man was more fit than me, which pushed me to the brink of anger. I left the house, determined to contact a divorce lawyer. Tempered infidelity confirmed. The next day, my friend Bill called, saying the man Claudia was flirting with had called him, confused because Claudia had presented herself as single. It became clear they had hooked up. Furious, I confronted Claudia, who sheepishly admitted to the affair, saying, "Now you know how it feels." I threw a ceramic ornament at her feet out of anger and told her to leave. She packed her things and left within an hour. Moving forward. I contacted a divorce lawyer, determined to end the marriage. Claudia tried to spin the story in her favor during the proceedings, but the judge saw through her lies. I kept the house and didn't have to pay alimony, as the income difference wasn't substantial. We hadn't had any children, so there were no further ties between us. I let her take some furniture and appliances to avoid reminders of her. Final thoughts. As I write this, I'm relieved to be free of Claudia's jealousy and infidelity. The years of accusations and control were exhausting, and I'm ready to move on with my life. I'm grateful for the support of friends and the clarity to see the situation for what it was. Now I look forward to a future where I can live without constant suspicion and drama. Story 2. Background. I 38M have a son, Mark 15M, and a stepson, Luke 14M. Mark's mother, my late wife, passed away when he was 8, and it's been a challenge raising him, especially since we have different interests. Mark is very close to his aunt, my sister May, who shares his interests. A few years ago, I met my girlfriend Laura 37F, who has a son Luke. Laura's ex was never in the picture, and Luke and I quickly bonded over our shared interests. The conflict. I've tried taking Mark to football matches, but he's not interested. Instead, I take him to West End shows and concerts. However, Mark's aunt May recently told me that Mark felt jealous of the time I spent with Luke. She suggested I not take Luke to an upcoming Formula One event, but Mark showed no interest in going. This left me conflicted, as I didn't want to neglect either boy. Addressing the issue. May's words cut deep, making me question my relationship with Mark. I decided to talk to him, expressing my love and reassurance. Mark admitted he wasn't jealous of the time I spent with Luke, but rather wanted to be closer to Luke himself. He was shy and unsure how to initiate a friendship. And the solution. Relieved, I suggested activities Mark and Luke could enjoy together, like going to movies or concerts. Both boys were thrilled with the idea, and Laura was pleased as well. It turned out they both wanted to be better friends but were too shy to express it. Moving forward. With this understanding, I'm now focused on fostering a closer bond between Mark and Luke. I'll continue to spend one-on-one time with Mark, ensuring he knows he's loved and valued. This experience has taught me the importance of communication and understanding in blending families. In summary, these two stories highlight the importance of addressing underlying issues in relationships, whether it's dealing with jealousy and trust in a marriage or fostering healthy connections in a blended family. Both stories emphasize the need for communication, empathy, and sometimes, difficult decisions to ensure the well-being of all involved. Story 3: My sister-in-law tried to ruin my wedding but ended up exposing her own infidelity. I, 33F, recently got married to the love of my life, Josh, 34M. We've been together for 7 years and finally tied the knot last month. Everything about our relationship has been a dream come true, except for one major hiccup: my sister-in-law, Amanda, 32F. From the moment Josh introduced me to his family, Amanda had been nothing but a thorn in my side. She's always been competitive with Josh, seeing every milestone in his life as a challenge to her own accomplishments. When we announced our engagement, Amanda's behavior took a turn for the worse. Initially, Amanda's jealousy was evident through her passive-aggressive comments and attempts to one-up every wedding detail we shared. If I picked a venue, she would make sure to point out a more extravagant one. If we discussed honeymoon plans, she would brag about her travels to more exotic destinations. It was petty, but I brushed it off as her insecurity. However, as the wedding date approached, Amanda's behavior escalated. She began spreading rumors about me within the family, suggesting that I was only after Josh's money. This was laughable since Josh and I are both professionals and contribute equally to our finances. Still, the constant whispering behind my back was draining. The final straw came at my bachelorette party. Amanda had insisted on being involved in the planning, which I reluctantly agreed to. I wanted to keep the peace for Josh's sake. During the party, Amanda got excessively drunk and started telling everyone that Josh had cheated on me multiple times during our relationship. She claimed to have proof but refused to show it. I was devastated. I trusted Josh completely, but Amanda's words planted a seed of doubt. I confronted Josh, and he was furious. He assured me that Amanda was lying and that she was just trying to sabotage our relationship out of jealousy. Despite his reassurances, the tension Amanda caused lingered in my mind as our wedding day approached. The day of the wedding arrived, and everything seemed perfect. I was nervous, but excited to start this new chapter with Josh. During the reception, as we were making our rounds to greet guests, Amanda approached us with a smug look on her face. She loudly announced that she had something to say and tapped her glass to get everyone's attention. In front of all our family and friends, Amanda claimed that Josh was a cheater and that I was making the biggest mistake of my life marrying him. The room fell silent. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest, and I saw Josh's face turn red with anger. But then, something unexpected happened. One of Josh's groomsmen, Tom, 35M, who happened to be Amanda's ex-boyfriend, stood up and called her out. He revealed that Amanda had been cheating on him throughout their entire relationship, and that she was projecting her guilt onto Josh. Tom explained that Amanda's accusations were baseless, and that she had been trying to ruin our wedding out of spite. The crowd was shocked. Amanda tried to deny it, but Tom pulled out his phone and showed everyone text messages and photos proving her infidelity. Amanda's face turned pale, and she quickly fled the reception in tears. The atmosphere was tense for a few moments, but then Josh took the microphone and reassured everyone of his love and commitment to me. The guests erupted in applause, and we continued our celebration with even more enthusiasm. In the end, Amanda's attempt to ruin our wedding backfired spectacularly. Her true colors were exposed, and she ended up isolating herself from the family. While it was a dramatic and stressful experience, it ultimately brought Josh and me even closer. We realized that no matter what obstacles we face, our love and trust in each other are unshakable. Our wedding day turned out to be the most memorable and joyous day of our lives, despite Amanda's best efforts to sabotage it. Story 4: The Inheritance Battle that revealed family secrets. My name is Ethan, 40M, and I recently went through an intense and eye-opening family feud over my late grandfather's inheritance. Growing up, my family was close-knit, or so I thought. My grandfather, Richard, was the patriarch of our family and had built a successful business from the ground up. He was a self-made man and always emphasized the importance of family unity and hard work. When Grandpa Richard passed away, it was a huge blow to all of us. He had always been the glue that held our family together. After the funeral, we all gathered at his lawyer's office for the reading of the will. Grandpa's lawyer, Mr. Harrison, was an old family friend and had known us all for years. The reading of the will started off as expected. Grandpa left specific sentimental items to each of us, and there were various charitable donations that he had specified. But then, the lawyer got to the part about the division of his estate and business. That's when things took a turn for the worse. Grandpa had left the majority of his estate, including his business, to be divided equally between my father, James, 65M, and my uncle, Robert, 62M. However, there was a clause that stated that in order for them to inherit, they had to work together to continue running the business for at least 5 years. If they couldn't do that, the entire estate would be donated to charity.